Well, it was 72 years ago today that Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. More than 2,400 people died. Some 1,200 were wounded in a sneak attack that drew the U.S. into the Second World War. And a local veteran who was on board a ship in the harbor that day will never forget it. News 13's Emma Wright brings us his story from the Veterans Memorial in downtown Asheville.
Craig Kirkpatrick is part of a shrinking generation of World War II veterans. He says now it's more important than ever to remember what happened on this day in history 72 years ago.
A battleship, and it was a fire from stem to stern.
Craig Kirkpatrick has lost his sight, but he can still see Pearl Harbor as it was on the morning, December 7th, 1941.
None of us knew that this was happening. And all of a sudden, we had a visitor come down from the bridge.
He was 19 and eating breakfast on the USS Castor.
Air raid, air raid, air raid. And this is no drill.
Kirkpatrick and 135 other sailors on the ship
got up and proceeded to our battle stations.
Rushed to defend Pearl Harbor.
I looked up and saw an aircraft in motion.
He says a Japanese plane was flying so low he could see the pilot and the gunner.
It scared me a little bit. I turned tail and went down into the engine room and went to my battle station.
Craig Kirkpatrick describes it as one of the longest days of his life.
Golly, I thought, well, they've really caught us sleeping.
Hours later, when it was finally safe to go outside,
what I was staring at was a mess that the Japanese had just made.
Craig says he was lucky.
We had a flag flying that indicated we were loaded with explosives.
72 years later, at the age of 94, he's got an album of pictures to remember the day that lives in infamy and hopes others will take the time to remember too.
No, we better not forget anyway.
Kirkpatrick lives in Hendersonville with his wife, and he's written 3 books about his experiences in the Navy. Reporting in Asheville, I'm Emma Wright, News 13.